In a small steel town in the American Midwest, the factory had been silent for years. Its rusted gates stood still, and the wind was the only thing moving through the empty parking lot. Then one morning, the town newspaper screamed in bold letters, "New tariff policy to rebuild American industry." The place came alive. Men and women dusted off their work boots, packed lunches, and lined up at the factory gates. Mark, a steelworker, smiled as he stepped back into the glow of the furnace. The molten steel's heat and smell felt like home. For a while, it was true. Jobs returned, paychecks grew, and the streets buzzed again. But far beyond this small town, something else had started. With tariffs raised, Canadian lumber, Chinese machinery, parts, and Mexican auto components struggled to cross into the U.S. At first, people thought it was good we're making our own, they said. But then came the ripple. Farmers found their export routes blocked. Soybeans and corn piled up in silos with nowhere to go. Service workers in the cities noticed fewer customers. Mark's sister, Lisa, worked at a downtown restaurant. When foot traffic slowed, her 5-day shifts dropped to 3. Her paycheck was nearly cut in half. "Mark, people just aren't coming in anymore," she told him quietly. In Washington, economists were sounding the alarm. China and Canada were already retaliating with their own tariffs. Reports estimated that millions of U.S. jobs were now at risk. The Brookings Institution warned that over 5 million workers could be affected. The Labor Department confirmed it in February alone. 190,000 fewer job openings compared to the previous month. Machinery, lumber, and chemical plants began sending out layoff notices, and prices began to climb. On grocery store shelves, imported electronics, clothing, even household essentials had new price tags. Lisa stared at a carton of milk. This went up more than $1. The Boston Fed issued a warning. With tariffs of 10% on Chinese goods and 25% on Mexican and Canadian imports, inflationary pressure could rise by up to 0.82 percentage points. Yale's budget researchers predicted U.S. prices could jump 1.8% in the short term, cutting the average household's purchasing power by about $3,800 a year for Mark's family. That was a year's worth of electricity and heating. But the problem wasn't just higher prices. When inflation rises, the Federal Reserve can't lower interest rates. Jobs fall, investment slows, and the economy loses momentum. In the town's coffee shop, conversations dropped to a whisper. "This feels like stagflation," someone muttered. By the summer of 2025, the fear had a name. Service sector growth stalled. July's job gains fell far short of expectations. On the evening news, the economic charts turned red, their lines dipping lower and lower. Mark stood once again in front of the factory gates. The machines were silent, the doors locked. The brief revival had faded. He whispered to himself, "We thought we were saving something, but maybe we were losing it all along." Tariffs had revived a few industries, but more families lost jobs and grocery bags grew lighter. Some celebrated, more mourned. And now, one question lingered in every home, in every boardroom, and on every street. Who was this policy really for?